gosh, I'm sorry for coughing, James.
It's alright.
Oh, it's quite a bumpy ride.
It's quite a hard ride.
Yeah, it's you can feel every bump in the road. It's not too bad, but it's very low. You feel like you're in a go-kart. A good one.
So this is a 1108cc engine.
Oh, there's no light in here, James. Just dark.
It's alright. Just keep it pointing out the window.
Yeah, okay.
Or at anything that lights up.
The old-fashioned. Actually, some cars still have that in, I think. That air conditioning thing. It's not even air conditioning, is it? It's portable.
It's very effective.
No, it's not. I die when that's on. Yeah, it is effective actually. It's not bad. It takes so much longer to heat up.
Well, the thing is, it's
and
not.
there's no cold air when it's hot.
Not on max.
Yeah, but you haven't got no aircon. You know, this is when it's cold.
Let me demonstrate. So that's on max, and that heats the car up very quickly.
That's loud.
But it's loud, so that's a compromise. Number 2.
Leave it on number 2 then. Let's see how it heats up. Even though we are sitting in big coats that have down in.
So I've had this car for nearly 3 years.
How much did you pay for it?
£600.
Wow.
And it had less than 23,000 miles on the clock.
So how many miles do you think you've done since you've known me?
I've done nearly 15. Oh, well, since I've had the car, nearly 15,000 miles.
Wow. And the cam belt went, didn't it?
Yeah, and that's it. And
luckily, in this car though, we need to explain about that cam belt because it's quite funny. When I first met James, it was showing off a bit in his car, right, spinning it around like being the dude. And he spun round this corner and drove off down the road and his cam belt went. We didn't know it was his cam belt at the time, but it was such a giggle. Anyway, the guy that came to do it said, oh, it's your cam belt, it's a write-off. And then all of a sudden, as we walked away, James remembered that this car is one of the only cars, if the cam belt goes, you can actually replace it. So
it doesn't mess the engine up.
Doesn't mess the engine up. So we ended up going to, that's the thing, you've got to watch for the cam belt in your car, and the other one. So we ended up going to this bloke come out and he took it away to fix it. And then while he was fixing it, because I live in mid Wales, it was in a field. It was parked in his like a farm place. Yeah. And rats chewed through the fuel line. Oh gosh, what a nightmare we had with this car to start with. But anyway, it's all fixed. It's a good car now. And
so apart from the cam belt, it's been very good, and I've had no problems with it.
I don't even think you've replaced the brakes since you've been with me, have you?
No, not even the tyres, brakes, anything. And it's really, really economical.
Yeah, it is.
You can do 500 miles on a tank. You can do about 100 miles an hour, flat out. That is downhill. And I drive it a lot around these twisty roads in Wales. It's a nice shot of the moon there. See the moon?
Oh, no, it's gone now. Oh, yeah. Is it full moon?
So I'll just take you quickly through the things I love about this car. I absolutely love the instruments on the dash. They are so clean,
Crisp.
and crisp. I don't think you'll ever see a better dash than that.
I'm sure you will, James.
It's just lovely. You've got a nice rev counter there. So characteristics of the car. Well, it's obviously not a fast car, but
It's not bad, James.
it has a willing engine, as they say. So if you drive, especially if you use the low gears, it feels pretty nippy.
How many gears has it got?
5 gears.
Oh, that's good.
The gear change is really, really smooth. You won't get a smoother gear change. The steering, the handling is brilliant. It feels like, to me, like pretty much like a perfect car. It doesn't feel its age at all.
How much is it worth, really, if you sold it? Have you done it online to see how it's worth?
It's probably worth a bit. It depends, really. It's probably held its value.
It's got another 20. How many years has it got before it's classic?
15.
I wonder if there's a Punto classic car thing, James.
I can tell you now that you'd find it very difficult to get an early Mark 1. There's lots of ones that are a little bit later, like.
But your thing at the back says "Eat." What's it called? Your number plate. It's pretty good. It's pretty cool.
And you've got electric windows in this. Most of the
it's electric
most
windows.
of the Mark 1s don't have electric windows that are left.
This must have been one of the first electric windows, James.
No, those go back to the 60s.
Where are you going?
Oh, just driving around. Should we go down here?
Yeah, okay. Careful, I will. Oh, Bill. It's 30 mile an hour zone, isn't it?
So besides the dash and the gear change, I also love the seats. I love the trim.
You're still on a 30 mile an hour limit. They're waiting to catch people. It's 50 after this. Shit, I didn't know that was a 30 mile an hour limit there. You should flash him, same old Bill.
Do you think he would know that?
Yeah. I always flash people when there's a sitting duck like that. Yeah, the people know it. They think it's an accident, and then they start to slow down. Whoops! They start to slow down, and then they realise, oh look, it's police.
Okay.
So it's always good to flash someone, especially him who's going a bit fast, isn't he?
Now I'm going to put this video on my Allegro channel, and you might be thinking, well, what's this got to do with Allegros? But I will be comparing it to the Allegro.
I thought nothing compares to your Allegro.
Nothing does. But the Allegro is more fun to drive than this, in my opinion. But that might just be because
The Allegro's like sitting
it's
in a
got
tin
novelty value, you know.
Yeah.
Interestingly, the Allegro engine feels more powerful. Well, you would expect that because it's a 1300, but actually this is a more modern engine, so you've got a bit more torque in the Allegro, which is power going up hills, you know.
It'd be interesting to compare I'm holding this with my hands, so I can't balance really. The phone is going to be a bit juddery.
That's right.
It'd be interesting to do the same thing in the Allegro to see just how juddery I am in that with it.
You'll get a smoother ride.
You reckon?
Yeah, because it's got hydrogas suspension. It will be interesting, but I think you'll get a smoother ride. So the technology used in this Fiat, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's an older technology. It's coils, like you have in old beds.
Should we,
Go left here.
yeah. Right. No, yeah. Oh, God, as well. Oh look, there's a church thing there. Oh. We're going to Knighton. Knighton's quite a good and nice community, you know. They're all stuck together, they all make their own rules and... Oh, I suppose they haven't got their own little thing. It's really haunted up here, you know. I think there's been some battles on these fields at some point. I was getting this feeling of oh, there it stopped. Slow down.
Fox.
Yeah, no, I don't want you to kill anything now. There's loads of wildlife up here.
Sheep.
Yeah. And they've had their babies, so be careful. That's the thing about Wales. Sometimes you're just driving through a farm, you know.
Turn around at the next pull over if you want.
Yeah, am I going to do my video?
Yeah.
Okay. Shall I stop this or? Because my arms are aching.
Right, hold on. Just let me stop at the next pull over. Tell me when you see one. Oh, actually, just do it here. So let me just round it off.
Alright. Turn your light on so I can get you on video.
So that is a very, very brief review of the Fiat Punto.
It's 13 minutes, I wouldn't call it brief. Let's have a
Electric
little look
window.
around the car. Here's the electric window. You can't see it down, it's too dark.
It's the ergonomics of this car are absolutely exemplary, especially the early Mark 1. When it went to the late Mark 1, they introduced this horrible fabric on the seats and the doors, but the early ones have beautiful, beautiful fabric, and then you look at all this, and the design is just gorgeous.
Can't see it very well because of the light.
I mean,
we have to do it in the daytime as well, I think.
it's lovely. It's
After the virus.
I keep all my CDs in there, except they're not in there because they're on the back seat at the moment.
It's quite big.
And you've got cup holders. It's a beautiful, beautiful car. But I have to say, it doesn't give me the same sort of feeling that an Allegro does.
That's because you love Allegros.
Yeah. Okay.